members of the OG Army. Get those wallets unfolded. Coming up next on the OtherGround live stage, prepare for an eargasm by Passive J and Big Dalton.
Well, good afternoon, and welcome to yet another edition of the OtherGround Live. I'm Passive J. That's Big Dalton over there. Say hello, Ryan.
Ladies and gentlemen, it is July the 20th. It is a Monday, and 51 years ago today, the U.S. government propagated the largest conspiracy of all time. They faked a moon landing.
Oh, Jesus Christ, dude. Let's not get started on that kind of shit today. Holy shit. I see the OG Army's forming up in the chat box. Always glad to see you guys here. How'd your day go, Ryan?
It was a Monday. It was a long day. It is what it is. However, as I said before, it is 51 years ago today that we did land on the moon, and we did actually land on the moon. So go America.
Yeah. Although I'd really love to have someone call in to try to dispute that one, because that's like a 3-minute Google search, but probably not that entertaining for show material. As for myself, I had a great day off. Today was my Saturday. I didn't do shit almost the entire day. Shit is actually the only thing I did. I picked up dog poop. That was the only chore I made for myself today. Other than that, I sat on my ass and played video games all day long. I barely even did any show research. I only got like 2 topics. So hopefully you've got some stuff or someone calls in, because otherwise it's going to be a boring show. Goddamn,
pal. Your day off. You have nothing else to do. You sit around the house anyway, and you couldn't come up with anything for a show.
Oh, I've got 2 or 3 things. I should be able to talk us along for a little while. Hopefully you got a couple things, and who knows, we might get a phone call or 2, right?
I mean, come on now. I generally have about 10 minutes of prep time, and I can go a full hour.
That's right. Why do you think I don't bother to do anything, man? You got it covered, man.
Oh, yeah, one of these days I'm just going to up and quit. You're going to be twiddling your thumbs 10 minutes in.
Yeah, but you know me. I can talk about nothing fucking all hour if I have to. It just won't be that entertaining. But anyways, what do you got?
So did you hear about the reporter that got arrested in Iowa?
Oh, no, sir. Tell me more.
Yeah, so there's this reporter that was arrested at one of the protests in Iowa a good week or 2 ago. And they just went to kind of like a pretrial hearing. And you'll be very interested in what the prosecution's excuse was for being unable to bring any evidence forward that was requested, like, body cams or police reports or police training material.
Okay, did I miss it? Did you speak on what she was arrested for yet, or is that upcoming?
It was whatever misdemeanors as part of like the protests.
Oh, okay. Okay, but so what was their excuse for not having any actual evidence for whatever this crime was?
Well, since she's just being charged with misdemeanors, the prosecutions think that it would actually just be too much of an effort to bring forth that evidence, so they don't think they should have to do that.
Too much of an effort. So basically, if the crime isn't serious enough, the prosecutors don't have to try very hard? Is that the theory that they're trying to float here?
Yeah, so I think the theory that they're actually trying to float is that if the charges are low enough, they shouldn't actually have to prove that there was a crime at all.
Oh, well, that's a unique perspective to have on that. I don't think that's legal as far as that goes. You got to have some kind of evidence of some nature. The cops just can't say, and the prosecutors can't just say, yeah, they did it, trust us. That doesn't work that way as far as I know.
Well, apparently that's how they're trying to get it to work. They just wanted to, let the judge know that since this reporter had only been charged with misdemeanors, the case was considered a low priority to them and wasn't worth the time needed to provide the evidence that the defense requested.
I'm assuming that's just not going to go well for them. Is there any response from the judge yet?
I don't think so, but I think if it's, a judge that has any sort of moral code at all, they just immediately throw that out.
You would assume so. Because if I was a judge, I'm like, well, if you're not going to put the effort in, I'm not going to put the effort in. Case dismissed.
Well, and there's the whole thing, innocent until proven guilty, right? And if you cannot give any sort of discovery to the defense, all of a sudden it's not a fair trial, which means you have to throw it out, right? Like that's a thing.
Yeah, I mean, that might even be what the cops are going for at this point. They might have, brought her in on charges, decided that they didn't really have nothing and didn't want to go through the effort, and they're just like, oh, well, maybe we'll get something out of it, but for the most part, we're just giving up. So, I mean, I guess that's a technique to use, I suppose.
It's not really a technique though, because then you wouldn't even bring forth the charges. You would just let the person go.
Yeah, you would think so. So I
They
don't
actually
know what they're
brought this
thinking.
to trial.
Yeah, so I don't know what they're thinking. There's no way possible way that that's going to go their way. They might, like you said, they should have just never brought up charges or just released them or dismissed the charges or whatever you call it when the cops charge somebody, then decide that they shouldn't have charged them.
Well, yeah, generally that just means they're just going to, throw out the charges and let you be on your way.
Right, which is obviously what should have happened.
Yeah,
Well,
that's an absolute shit show, and just the balls of that prosecutor. That's quite the argument to make in court.
yeah, well, that's not the first time the legal system has done shady stuff. I have that for a topic later if we get around to it. But what else do you got, sir?
Hey, do you have any interest in vacationing in Uzbekistan?
Uzbekistan. I'm gonna admit my ignorance and say I don't know where that is exactly. I'm assuming it's one of those Eastern European countries.
Yeah, it's one of those European countries in the Istan region.
Right. Okay, so like almost Middle East-ish, but not quite, huh?
Yeah, somewhere in there. But they're doing something unique to drum up some tourism.
Oh, what's that, sir?
They will pay any visitor that contracts COVID-19 while they're there $3,000 in US dollars.
Oh, is this I'm sorry you got sick kind of payment or um
Yeah, pretty much.
that's
So
interesting.
apparently to treat it in Uzbekistan, it costs roughly $3,000 US. So basically what they're saying is, hey, if you come vacation here and you get sick, we'll pay for it.
Oh, well, I don't suppose that's a horrible idea. Anyone who's going to go on vacation's probably not all that worried about the COVID in the first place. I assume that's the reason tourism is down because people who are concerned about it aren't going anyplace. So if you're not concerned about getting it, don't think it's a big deal or something like that, you would certainly go ahead and go there. Just because you wouldn't have to worry about the entire thing. On the other hand, if you're thinking you're going to get COVID and you would need that $3,000 payment to get over being sick, you wouldn't go in the first place. I mean, shit. I mean, I don't care if you're paying for my COVID stuff. I'm willing to bet the U.S. Medical system's probably a little bit better than theirs.
So I wonder if you can loophole this sumbitch, right? Because like the majority of the people that get COVID are completely asymptomatic. If you're
Mhm.
one of those people that just for some reason has gotten a test and you come back positive, you then just cash in your airline rewards points and get a free trip to Uzbekistan and walk right back out with $3,000 in your pocket.
Oh, since you're not really sick anyways, since you don't
Yeah.
have any symptoms. Well, yeah, that of course has a lot of moral issues with exposing like a shitload of people on your way to your paycheck.
I mean, it's just Uzbekistan.
Well, come on, yeah. All right. Apparently, Mr. Barbs, we were going to have Mr. Kevin Barbers call in, but I'm looking on the chat box and saying he's having issues calling in. Let's see. I'm going to switch over to the thread and see what his issues are. How do I call it? I can't down the lamp because my freaking phone is a piece of crap with not enough memory. Well,
Well, then
okay.
he's
You go ahead and
fucked.
talk for a second. Yeah, you go ahead and talk for a second there, Ryan, while I give him the bad news.
Well, this should be interesting. So we have Passive J crushing the dreams of somebody else as opposed to Passive J's life crushing the dreams of Passive J. So this will be interesting. Also, what kind of phone does someone have that it cannot handle PodBean? From what I gather,
Isn't
this
that like-
isn't necessarily like the most tech-heavy application in the world.
Well, isn't it like 30 meg or something like that to run Podbean? It can't be a really big fucking program. I've never actually looked it up to see how big it was. But my phone's only got like I want to say 16 gig of memory or 32, which means it actually has like 26 because they always use up part of it for your internal memory shit, processor shit. I mean, I have one of those little slots to put another was it a mini SDS card or whatever it's called, oh, mini SIM. I can't remember what the name of it is, but the little tiny memory cards. And I didn't even bother to put it in because I don't need any more space.
Yeah, he must have like a super old piece of shit phone because that's just, yeah, that's something. I don't know how large it is because I don't have it on my phone because I am not calling into this thing if I'm on my phone. So there's that.
Right. Which I might be trying. I will be honest with you guys. We might break the streak come August because when I take my couple days off for vacation, I'd like to call in on those days, But my wife makes a pretty good argument that I should probably fucking do something else on my vacation for a couple days as well. So I don't know. What do you guys think? You think I should call in during my vacation on the phone?
You can't give 1 hour
That's
out of
my
your
thing.
entire day. There's 24 of them.
That's what I'm thinking. I'm going to be relaxing and maxing. But on the other hand, if we want to go to dinner at 5:30 and we're going to be in the middle of eating, so I don't know. I'll tell you what. I'm going to try to plan it around so that I don't have anything going on during that hour. Um, I can't see why not.
It
It's
shouldn't
not
be
like I
that
can
hard.
eat.
Again, it's 1 hour
Right.
out of the entire day.
Right. See, so that's my plan. I'm planning on just doing the show. Actually, I'd like to do the show on the beach. Wouldn't that be cool? With like, on the other hand, maybe not with the wind whistling and shit like that. Might not be good for the show.
Well, I mean, is it really going to be that much worse than usual?
I don't know. I've never did the show on my phone. We might be surprised to find out I sound like shit on the phone. That the entire voice thing I have going is all equipment based.
Well, we know that's not the case because you had a pretty crappy microphone prior to this new setup, and it didn't really sound all that different.
Right. Yeah. So I suppose so. But we'll see how the phone goes. It's not like I don't talk on the phone all goddamn day long in my other job. So, and they think I sound good. Oh yeah, Fatty and Richard Gere said I should get a guest host. That is an option too. If we can find someone that can commit to those 2 days, that would be cool too. Because if nothing else, it's fun every once in a while to switch it up. But we'd have to be someone who can commit to the whole hour as opposed to our random call-ins like we normally get. So if we can find a guest host, that's awesome. I'd rather do that because I do want to spend time with my wife and vacation and stuff. But I'm not going to leave Big Dalton hanging to try to do a show by himself either.
Yeah, we already saw how that went. That was an interesting 45 minutes of me rambling.
It is not easy. I've did that before. I've done whole shows by myself on several occasions among the different podcasts I've done over the years. And even if you have like an entire slate full of things to talk about, it's really hard to talk to yourself for an hour. I imagine it's probably slightly easier for you because you had the chat box going. The times I've tried it, I didn't have anything at all. I felt like I was basically just talking to air, out there in space, without getting any feedback back about how I was doing, which made for an odd show. I
Yeah,
didn't
now
like it.
see, I could put something together where I could yap for an hour, but it's something that I would need more than the 3 minutes notice of, hey, Jay is trying to get in but can't.
Right, right, yeah. That's how I felt like on the occasions you had to miss. I only did it for like 10 minutes or so before Sly or somebody else called in to help me do the show. And Fatty's saying I have to at least call in so the streak is intact, which is true. I feel bad if I didn't at least call in for a couple minutes. So I'm definitely going to commit to that, even if we get a guest host. Um, Shit, you could try to get a couple. It's Sly is good at it. If you can get Sly and Tenor, and fuck, there's the entire show right there. You don't even need topics between the three of you guys.
Quite possibly. We'll see, though. We
Yep.
still have a while till this happens.
Right. Almost a month. God, it's a whole month. It's silly because it's fucking 2 days that I'm going to be there. I'm taking one day off from work. I'm taking off Sunday. Unlike most years, I actually have Mondays and Tuesdays off most of the time now, as opposed to previous years where I worked 6 days a week and occasionally 7. I'm still working overtime because I'm there a lot because I'm there so early to check people in, and I still work to my normal time. So I'm still putting in a lot of hours, but not quite as much as I normally do.
Well, yeah, we heard about your entire, ideas on the rest of the year. So, yeah, you, sure.
Well, literally, I'm taking off one day this year. That's my entirety. The rest of it, I'm saving up to cash in at the end of the year. I'm lucky enough that any unused vacation and personal days I have, they let me cash in if I don't use them. because they'd rather me not take vacations. So if I'd rather turn them in for money, they're perfectly happy with that.
Well, there you go. At least you have, whatever's going to happen. I mean, the least you can do is just prepare as you can, and having a backlog of vacation. That's at least something, right?
Right. I don't know how common that is. Can you do that at your job? If you don't use your vacation days, can you turn them in, or is it use them or lose them?
No, we can carry. I think we can carry over like 1 or 2 weeks. I don't remember how much, but it's not all of it.
Or so you can carry it on to the next year or something like that, huh?
Yeah, we don't have like a cash out per se, because that would be kind of a ridiculous chunk of money for anybody that's been there for a while. So generally, I get to the point where like the way I actually do it is a lot of times I'll front load it into the beginning of the year a little bit. Like whatever I carry over, I end up taking like during January, just kind of get it out of the way, not track it. And then I'm also one of those people that half the time like basically doesn't work for the month of December.
Right. See, and I get 3 weeks of paid vacation and 6 personal days. So it's a fair amount of a time that I have. Here, unfortunately, since I'm not a union person, next year I'm probably going to get screwed out of another week of paid vacation time. The union people there after 16 years, because I am on my 16th year right now. So after I finish my 16th year, if I was a union person, I would get a 4th week of vacation. For some reason or another, the non-union people top out at 3. I might get that anyways, because my bosses tend to give me the union benefits anyways, but in the employee handbook, they don't have to. So we'll see how that goes.
Man, I tell you what, you already getting 2 months off and having like that much vacation, you have it pretty cushy there, Jay.
Yeah, well, I don't get paid for the 2 months off, and I don't take my time off. So yeah, that's kind of how. I don't get me wrong, my job is not horrible. There are advantages and disadvantages to the way it's set up, but either way, it's not like I have any choice about my job at this point. It's pretty much my career. If I plan for it to be my career for the foreseeable future, so I'm just lucky that it's not a horrible job. It doesn't pay a ton, but the benefits are pretty good.
Well, good for you. I'm planning on this being my career, so I'm going to need you to get your crap together, have things ready to go, have you out there whoring yourself on the Twitters and other social medias, and get this thing popping there, Jay.
I am working on it, sir. It's funny. I went to go post that we're going to start in 2 minutes. I accidentally posted the wrong link, deleted it, and then saw that you posted it instead. Although you did the YouTube thing, and I was going for the PodBean one.
I know, like I'm the one that's working all day, and I'm already on top of this stuff. Come on, Jay. Come on. I need you to get together here. You're supposed to be the podcast professional. Okay, I'm just along for the ride.
That is a sad commentary on my life, that I am kind of a podcast professional just because I've been doing it so long with very little success. But I started back in fucking 2007 podcasting when it was like me and like 4 other people. And that's not that much of an exaggeration. If you look back on it, very, very few people were podcasting in 2007.
And think, the rest of them became millionaires.
Yeah, I know. How do you think that makes me feel? I'm like, well, goddamn, dude, I had an inherent advantage over everybody else, and I still could do nothing with it. Oh, let's see, we got a caller. This is not the caller we were waiting on, but we might take his call just for shits and giggles. Why not? Well, hello there, sir. What can we do for you today? Yeah, we don't do calls for music right now. Call back if you actually have something to say. But regardless, do you have anything else you want to talk about before we get into my stupid fucking topics?
Well, I was going to headbang to those.
Wait a minute.
I was going to headbang to those bagpipes.
Oh, yeah, that was pretty cool. Oh, look, we actually have another caller. Let's see how that goes. Oh, hello, sir. What can we do for you today?
What's up, my friend? Can you hear me?
I certainly can. Is this the world famous Kevin Barbers?
I don't know about world's famous. I'm more just part of the world, just as we all are. You know what I'm saying?
Well, you are certainly OG famous, my friend. Glad to have you on. How you doing today, sir?
I'm doing good, man. I appreciate the opportunity. I was looking over all the podcast episodes that you have. I see that you have almost 150 of them.
Yeah, in between our regular episodes, and our fight companions, we're up to about 150 hours of content so far.
That's freaking incredible.
Yeah, well, we do it every goddamn day, so it adds up pretty quick.
Well,
So
I've been trying to start one for a while, and getting my feet wet and getting my feet on the ground to start one. It's not easy, to get viewers and to just start it. As you know, in life, the hardest thing is starting it. So I appreciate you getting me on, man.
Well, step one,
sure,
do it. Step two, keep doing it. Step three, all of a sudden you're 150 episodes in talking about nothing.
Yeah, and if you ever need any advice on how to start one or the equipment or any of the setup, feel free to ask me about it. I have no problem at all. There's a million podcasts out there, so it's not like we have to worry about competition. Everyone has a podcast. It's actually easier just to find out about the people that don't have a podcast, because everyone has one now.
Now, is this the only platform you guys are on right here, the PodBean?
No, we're also available on iTunes and Spotify, and we have a YouTube channel as well.
Oh, okay, no doubt. Oh, it's live on YouTube and iTunes and all that right now as well. Or?
Well,
so
it's live right now on Spotify and on YouTube, and then after it's been recorded at the end of the episode, it goes up onto Spotify, iTunes, and also on PodBean as well. So people can download. So in addition to listening live, people that cannot catch the show live can download it later and listen to it at their own pleasure.
Oh, that's awesome. Now, this is number 2 podcast in the world behind Joe Rogan, right?
We're working on it.
If you round up, that's where we are.
We're going to catch up on them.
Man, I think you're on your way. I mean, a lot of people go to the underground, whatever. I know it's the OtherGround, but man, what did I say? 4.8 thousand people are subscribed to this. Is that what it is?
Something like that. That sounds like a good number. Yes.
Man,
I don't know what our numbers are actually. I haven't looked up the stats in a while. We're not doing bad for a podcast that's only 4 months old. I'm happy with our numbers. Check back with us in a year, and then we'll be able to tell more about how successful we are.
Oh, 100%, man. I think you have the longest reigning thread so far in the OtherGround, right? I mean, now.
No. Oh God, no. That's not even. It doesn't even come close to the post a funny picture thread. That thing's fucking. Like more than a decade old, and so many goddamn posts on it. It's amazing, but we're working on it. So, sir, tell me a little bit more about yourself. For those that are unaware of how you got to be known on the OtherGround.
Man, I've always been a big fan of mixed martial arts, obviously, and I've always been a long time lurker, and I know there's a lot of ball busters on the OtherGround, and I kind of wanted to jump in, but I never knew exactly why to jump in, obviously to join the conversation and talk, but I wanted to go there with a purpose, so, I broke up, I was in not a long term, but, a couple of years, I guess a long term for me. It was actually my first relationship, and we broke up, and, I fell into depression, and I started running every day after I finally got out of the depression. I started putting out videos, and man, I used what I could to heal myself, and that was, It's funny because I've heard people say, I hate when people use social media as therapy. And that's exactly what I did, and I mean, right now, this is your therapy in a way, no?
Yeah, in certain ways, yeah. I do use this as a pressure valve and to relieve stress in my life, although sometimes it adds stress to my life. But yeah, interacting with people and trying to make people laugh and entertaining them is what makes me happy. So the podcast in general makes me happy because I'm trying to entertain people.
Man, entertainment, that's what that's what I try to be all about. I'm not always the most entertaining person. I'm more like, I entertain in other reasons, I guess, like if people want to laugh at me, it's all good, I'm saying? Like entertainment, there's many forms of entertainment. So it's like when I first started, on the OtherGround, and I first started like posting, like, man, my open mics, I look back on them now, Jay, and they are terrible,
Well, that's all right. That's how you get better. If you want to go back and listen to some of the podcasts I did like a decade ago or some shit like that and listen to them, they're not very good. So that's how you get better, by putting yourself out there and being willing to accept that criticism, both good-natured and bad-natured. And that's how you improve in life. So there's certainly nothing wrong with looking back on it and not being happy on it, happy about your performance. It'd be kind of weird if you were happy with it, because as you grow and get better, you're going to look back on your stuff and go, oh, that wasn't very good.
Moral to the story, everybody sucks until they don't.
Right?
Yep.
Well, that's the funny thing about growth is you don't necessarily know you're growing in the process of what you're doing until you can look back on it, right?
Yeah, that's very true. There's, a good analog is working out and lifting weights or whatever type you work out, whatever type of way you work out. When you're doing it, you don't notice your progress because it's so slow and little bit by bit by bit by bit. But then you look back from 6 months perspective and you're like, wow, I look much better than I did, or I'm much stronger, or I can run much farther, or whatever your workout is. It's never a giant leap all at once.
Well, unless you get programming by me, and then Jay's got cannons.
I'm happy with my progress. I'm not gonna lie, but there's still a lot of work to do.
Hey, you know what's funny, Jay, is when I first started posting, everyone was like, and I didn't really, I've seen, when I was lurking, I seen you, I don't know if you, like, we kind of took the same approach as, like I was saying earlier, you know, we use it as our therapy, but people were calling me you. They thought I was you under a different name or something.
Oh, yeah, it's not surprising. You probably got called Home Slice a whole bunch at first, too.
Home Slice, yeah, Home Slice, Passive J. There were people thought I was like running around with 5 or 6 different names and talking to myself. Like, why would I do that?
Yeah, dude, there are people on there that do that. There's people on there that have multiple accounts, and it's like a game to them. Like they want to put out this impression of like they're one person when they have 4 or 5 different accounts. Sometimes they actually respond into each other, like Steve and Bob's. Oh, Steve, that's a great idea. Yeah, Bob, that is a great idea. And it's fucking weird, but some people enjoy doing that. And as long as they're not trying to hurt people, I guess it's harmless.
Right, but you know what it was? There were people doing that to me to make it look like I was the one doing it. Like, I didn't get it, you know? I really didn't get it, you know? Like, I don't even know who these people are. Like, I think one guy was like Richard Bannister, and one dude was like, his name's Dick Bandit, and I thought that was hilarious.
Oh, there are some really funny names on the OG. Nothing comes to mind at the moment, but there's just some real comedians on the OG in general. Nothing. I see funny posts all the time. It's funny. The OG has a very varied people there, like from all walks of life, all different types of careers. It's the great melting pot. Yeah, everyone thinks the United States is. That's exactly what the OG is.
Dude, the OG is a beautiful place. You know, like it's been blessed with so many appearances. I mean, Mark Hunt. I remember Mark Hunt posted on here a few times. Joe Rogan used to be on here all the time. No.
Yep. Oh, there's all kinds of cool people on there. Pat Miletich posts every once in a while. All kinds of different MMA. I've seen Ben Saunders on there. My friend Roxanne posts on there occasionally. There's all kinds of MMA people. Apparently, like there's celebrities that are on there, like John Patrick Flannery. I think I have his name right. He was in a couple movies, apparently. Boondock Saints and some other ones. He posts on there occasionally. He actually popped onto our show the first or second episode, and I had no clue who the fuck he was. So I just thought he was a random call. I thought he was just a random caller. So he's like, "Hey, I'm calling to support your show." I'm like, "Yay, thanks."
You're the only person ever to call in or ever to take the call of somebody, you know, named Sean Flannery, who had the username of Sean Flannery, and then you asked who they were.
Oh yeah, because I didn't know. For one thing, I didn't know he was a famous person, so I didn't know if he was using the same username on the OG as he was here, because I didn't know that he was anybody special, and most people don't use their real name on the OG. So it was a logical question, not knowing who he was. So he was like, "Yeah, that's me on the OG." I'm like, "Oh, okay." I got told afterwards who he was.
Let me ask you guys a question. What inspired you to start this podcast?
Well,
there's a thread, right?
Brad. Yeah, there's a thread. Someone said that there should be an OG podcast. A gentleman named Brad that used to call in quite a bit at one point. He made a thread about how there should be an OG podcast, and he actually sent me a message saying that I should look at that thread and possibly think about doing it. And since I'd done podcasting for a while, I was up for it. But I also had said, "Hey, is there anybody else that wants to do this? This isn't just me. It's, I'm not the entire OG." A couple other people expressed interest in doing it, but no one else got up off their ass and did it. And that's how Ryan became part of the show on the same thread. He goes, "Yeah, I'll do the show with you." Because I said I'd be perfectly willing to do the show, but I'm not doing a solo show. They're too hard. I need a co-host. And Ryan was like, "Fuck yeah, I'll do that shit." And here we go.
Ryan, now Passive J, I know you. Now Ryan, you have a red name, don't you? I think I seen you post something that I said the other day. You had said something, no?
No, I definitely don't have a red name. I think it's technically a blue name. I technically have a green name because I used to fight. But yeah, I don't. If I showed up as Red somewhere, that's super weird.
Yeah, he is R.C on the OG, as well as what you see as his screen name. His real name's Ryan. We call him Big Dalton because he used to be a bouncer, but he's not small, so he's big. Big Dalton.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
No
that's
doubt.
a story.
No doubt.
So-
That's what's up.
So tell us about your entire thing with America's Got Talent. If I understand correctly, you applied to be on the show and got a couple stages in.
Yeah, man. I went on, and there were 1,500 people in New York that tried out, and out of those 1,500 people, 32 of them got a second audition. So 1,500 people got one audition in front of one judge, one producer, and you get a minute. Some people were even telling me they only got 30 seconds, which I felt bad for. And yeah, so I was the last one out of they called in 20 people to one room, and everyone's auditioning in the one room. You wait like 5 hours. You wait 5 hours in the big audition room until they call 20 people into your room where you're going to audition. So you go in with the 20 people, and all these people audition. I'm like, holy shit! I'm like, did they forget about me? So these 19 people, they audition, and then boom, finally they're like Kevin Barber, and I did my little aces stomping out, hey, look, I made it thing, which is completely crazy that I thought that would be a good act, but that's a story for another day. And yeah, he said everyone can leave, but Kevin, you made it to the next round. I was like, holy shit, are you serious? He's like, yeah. I was like, oh my God, I almost started crying. And this was after like 3 times of messing up. So I played it. I started my little motivational spiel. I gave the guy my phone. I said, play the music when I say, let's have some fun. And he goes to play the music, and his music thing, whatever he was using, it was on mute. So when my music started playing, it was like 5 seconds too late. I was like, oh my God, I screwed it up. And then no, you know what? That was the second time. The first time I forgot to give him my phone for him to play the music. It was a train wreck. It was a complete train wreck. But I got it to the second round, and then I do my audition in front of the three judges, and I start doing it. And my belt, I had a championship belt in my pants. And before I was waiting for my second audition, I was laying down, like almost like sleeping, waiting for them to call my name again. And my shirt was like loose. So when I went to go do my second audition, when I was stomping out the evil, my freaking belt fell out of my pants and fell out of my shirt. So they were like, what the fuck? So when it got time to raise my belt, I looked at the ground. I'm like, oh my God, it's on the fucking ground. So I pick up my belt and I just raise it like that was part of the thing. And I think 3 of the judges really liked me, but there was this kind of like douchey judge, and he's like, okay. He's like, why are you stepping on the flowers? And I looked at the other 3 judges, and they knew why I was stepping on the flowers, like I was stomping out the garden of evil. But they didn't say nothing because this guy was like the head honcho. So they didn't want to like step on his toes. But I looked at them all in their face, and they gave me that look like, yeah, I know that you were stomping out the evil. And I said, I was stomping out the evil. And they kind of like shook their head. And he was like, oh, okay. And yeah, I don't know. I don't know if I didn't give him a good vibe or what. I don't know if that little interaction or the fact that the act is just laughable. Maybe they saved me. I think they even saved me from not putting me on, to be honest.
Well, yeah, I mean, it depends on how you look at it. You had a great idea. There's nothing wrong with the concept of what you were doing, and I don't see anything wrong with the execution, really. It just probably wasn't the type of thing that they were looking for. Would have went well over live? I don't know. You never know. There's so many things that people put out there that catch fire without you really thinking that it would. So there's an entire possibility that you could have went on the show and did well. I mean, we'll never know because, that one guy decided that it wasn't for you, but, there's nothing wrong with trying, dude.
Now, Jay, give your story of the time you tried out for RuPaul's Drag Race.
Smart ass. Yeah, no, I've never tried out for any kind of show or anything like that. That's not really my thing. I do podcasting and voiceovers for commercials and shit like that when I can get to work. I'm definitely not a in front of a camera type of person, I imagine.
What I thought the funniest part is someone from the underground said that was a that talent that act wouldn't win a 5th grade talent show.
Oh. Well, there's a lot of very mean people on the OG too. As I can
Hey, there are
attest
some
to.
very talented 5th graders, so come on now.
Yeah,
man.
Yeah. So well, that's a good story though, dude. I mean, if nothing else, you got a great story out of it that you'll be able to tell people for years about how you auditioned for America's Got Talent. It could be worse. You could be one of those people that like auditioned to be on The Ultimate Fighter, and and their entirety of their time on The Ultimate Fighter was going to the first fight and getting your ass kicked and not even getting in the house. So it could have been worse, sir.
Man, let's talk about Joe Duffy for a second. What has happened to Joe Duffy? Did you see Joe Duffy's performance this weekend?
No, I didn't catch it, but I did hear that he retired though.
Man, that guy, I swear, that guy is the most talented, one of the most talented 155s in the world, and I feel he broke mentally somewhere along the line.
He's had a very long career, and after a while, for some people, I guess maybe right in the middle of the fight, he decided it just wasn't fucking worth it anymore. I don't know, Ryan, what do you think?
Yeah, he's just one of those guys. Yeah, he just never got to where he should have been. But I mean, there's been a lot of guys like that. I think of some of the big ones like Dave Terrell.
Yep, he's one for sure.
Yeah.
David Loiseau. What about David Loiseau? You think he was kind of one that never met his potential?
He got pretty far, but like that was one of the most lopsided UFC championship fights in history.
Rich Franklin, right? Was that Rich Franklin?
Yeah, I think like one of the judges gave it to Franklin like 30-23.
Oh Jesus!
And that's before they even really gave out 10-8s.
Right. Richard Gere's mentoring Gaslam. His career's not over yet, but it's starting to look like he might not ever reach his potential. Mostly because he can't put down the fork.
He's another one, man. Guy, I thought he had that. I thought he was going to have that fight in the bag, and I caught him a leg lock. You don't know what could have happened after that fight. I mean, if that didn't happen, but that's a shame.
Yeah, and then you have those fighters that it's not that they don't achieve their potential, but it's just that they're not quite good enough. And I hate to say that because I hate judging other people, but like Ben Saunders. Ben Saunders is one of my favorite fighters of all time. I love watching him fight. He's a cool dude. I've talked to him a little bit on Twitter, and he's just never really made it into that very upper level. He's always just like the above average fighter, but not quite elite. And I don't know why. He had all kinds of tools. He's very good. He doesn't have like any weak spots in his game, but he could never just quite reach the top.
Yeah, his chin definitely is not the strongest of chins,
Yeah, not anymore. I don't know if it was always like that and he just was able to protect it better, or maybe he could slow down just a little bit as he got older to the point where people were able to catch him better. But man, watching some of his fights, he brutalized fucking people with knees in that Muay Thai clinch.
With knees, and he had a good ground game too. I remember when he came back to the UFC and hit that guy with a freaking was it an omoplata?
Yeah. Was that it? At the time was or was it an anaconda choke? Time he was the first person to hit it.
I think it was an omoplata. Oh, it was an omoplata. It was an omoplata. It was the shoulder lock.
Yeah. He's good. I don't know if he's got a black belt, but he's got to be getting close at this point. And he just never got quite to the top.
Yeah. What about Nick Diaz? You think Nick Diaz will ever come back or no?
No, I doubt it at this point. I know he still probably keeps in shape because I know he likes to do like triathlons and marathons and shit like that. But as far as I know, he's not actively training to fight at all, and that's the sort of stuff that you have to keep active because those type of skills deteriorate pretty quick.
Yeah, that I don't even know if he ever paid his fines. Like I thought that was one of the holdups is he wasn't paying his Nevada fines.
Oh
so,
man.
Yeah, and if Nevada won't license you, pretty much all the other boards go along with that as well.
I hope he's doing it right because I know he's partying it up. I see his Instagram every once in a while, and he is partying it up. I think he's getting paid more not to fight.
Yeah, I don't. What do you mean? I don't know where he'd be getting a source of income.
I mean, I think. Well, right now, I know you're right. Right now, he's probably not getting paid. But at one point, I know he was getting paid for like pool parties and nightclub appearances.
Oh yeah. I heard something about that he was getting paid just to show up and party because these clubs want high profile people there.
Who do you think Nate should fight next?
Oh, that's a good question. That guy's getting on the tail end of his career as well. I mean, he still fights at a high level, but he's one of those people that I don't think is ever going to get a championship belt. He's just not quite good enough.
Well, and with him, like there's only two people he can fight because he's only going to fight for a certain price, and the only two people you're going to be able to justify it with is either Conor McGregor or Jorge Masvidal. That's it. Those are the two choices.
Man, the people that said that Nate was coming on strong in that fight, I disagree. Did you guys agree with that sentiment? I mean,
the Masvidal fight,
the cut happened, the Masvidal fight. I mean, I saw Maz winning that fight all day if that fight didn't get stopped.
Yeah, so Jorge was definitely taking the fight. If you look at Diaz with the cardio that those kids have coming out there in the last round or two, it would have been a better showing, but the only way he was going to win that fight is if he finished Masvidal, and it didn't look like that was going to happen.
Yeah, because Nate's never going to knock anybody out. Does he have any knockouts?
Ray Maynard.
Yeah, the Diaz brothers are more of the accumulation fight stoppage than just the hard knockout. So it's very far and few between, but if he starts putting it on someone, like, that's also when they turn into the panic wrestler like Conor did, and he'll just wrap them up.
Yeah, Nate's so much fun to watch fight. Yeah,
I love Nate.
One of my favorite fight memories ever was when he had who was it?
I know you're talking Kurt Pellegrino.
Yeah. When he ran that fucking triangle and fucking flipped off the crowd because he knew he had that shit. He flexed and shit. I was like, that is so fucking boss.
Well, when he fought Benson Henderson, he did the same thing, and it was on Fox, and they bleeped it out. He started flicking Benson Henderson off.
Yeah. There's another guy that I expected to do better, Henderson. I mean, obviously, he's had a great career, but later on in his career, it seemed like he dropped off really quick.
Yeah, I don't know what happened to Benson. I mean, he's still a beast. Don't get me wrong. Benson's still a beast. Yeah. But I don't know. Maybe the weight cut started getting to him. He cuts a lot of weight, that guy.
Yeah, he was pretty buff. He looked like Tarzan. They're like, if you wanted me to have a mental image of what Tarzan looked, that'd be that. But Benson Henderson, I could totally see him in the jungle. With
Jay, that's racist
and shit. Oh shit, come on. Yeah.
Hey, let's say Benson Henderson. He beat fucking Jorge. He beat fucking Gamebred.
Yeah.
You know, and you look at Gamebred, the moves he's making now, and Benson never got that love. You know.
Yeah, true. Oh, he was the receiving end of the one of the best highlights of all time, the Showtime kick.
True, but I mean, he came back with a vengeance. He started, he won his first 4 or 5 UFC fights, got a title shot. He held the belt for 3 or 4 fights. Benson, he had a great run,
Yeah, is he retired now? Is he still fighting?
No, he went to Bellator and he just hasn't done well at all.
I think he's getting a rematch. I think he's getting a rematch with Chandler, because the first Chandler fight, he's already had 2 title shots in Bellator. He fought Andrei Koreshkov, and Koreshkov is a monster. Koreshkov, I was actually at that fight at Foxwoods. It was either Foxwoods or Mohegan a few years ago, and yeah, Koreshkov just dominated him. Better striking, the size, the power, the speed. He just dominated him. And then I think he fought one more time and won. And then he fought Chandler, and that was a great fight. Benson actually ended up coming on strong in the last few rounds, and then they gave it to Chandler. It could have went either way, to be honest, if you go back and watch that fight. So they're having a rematch.
Oh, well, let me ask you something. Who do you think is your favorite fighter all time, not just active, from of any era?
Man, well, at one time it was Conor. It was definitely Conor. I mean, I remember when he fought Marcus Brimage, and I was like, wow, this guy's going to be a freaking beast. And long and behold, he became a beast. But, I mean, I was a huge fan of Junior Dos Santos when he was coming up.
I love Junior.
He was just knocking dudes out. And then, it's crazy because the more you see people fight, the more weaknesses you see in a fighter. And, the one weakness I always notice in Junior is that when he gets trapped against the cage, he does not know how to circle off the cage. I don't know if you guys ever noticed that. He kind of just runs, and it's hurt him. It hurt him against Stipe in the second fight. It hurt him against Kane. It hurt him against Nagano recently. He's just never learned to circle off that cage.
Right. When he's moving forward, he does awesome. When he can't move forward and the opposing fighter is able to put pressure on him, he just doesn't do well.
Yeah. Oh, I forgot my favorite fighter actually just came to my head. I've been a fan of this guy since he first got. I first became a fan of this guy when he knocked out Brendan Schaub. Could you think of who that is?
Are you talking about?
And no offense to Brendan Schaub, I love Brendan Schaub, but man, fucking Ben Rothwell, I love that motherfucker.
He is a funny guy. I like his attitude about fighting. He's definitely one of the more old school fighters as far as his attitude goes. He's a horrible dancer, but we will hold that against him.
Man, I love Rothwell because I remember he knocked out Schaub and then he fought Gonzaga and Gonzaga choked him out. But I'm like, no, I still like this guy. And then he fought Mark Hunt in just the ugliest fight in the history of MMA. And then he started bouncing back. He fought Overeem. He knocked out Overeem. Then he fought Josh Barnett, choked him out. Fought Mitrione, choked him out. And then he was going against Junior, and I thought he was going to beat Junior. And Junior just dominated him.
Yeah, and those are some good names. Overeem, you don't get much bigger in the heavyweight division as far as a name to beat. Matt Mitrione, he's a good guy, by the way. I talk to him on Twitter occasionally. That's not a bad win. He was never going to be a champ, but he was a lot better than people gave him credit for.
Yeah, I like Meathead. Meathead's the fucking man.
Yeah. He's a funny guy, dude.
Man, what happened to Sean McCorkle?
I don't know, dude. I see him post on the fucking UG every once in a great while, but I haven't heard anything about him as far as a fight career. I think he's retired, I assume.
I liked McCorkle. He's funny shit.
Yeah, he's a funny guy, dude. His review. Have you ever seen his review of Matt?
Matt Hughes' book.
Matt Hughes. I read a little. Yeah, I think I did see a little bit of that. He really totally bashed him. No.
Yeah, it was fucking funny as fuck. Just his review of the book made me want to go out and buy the book so I could get the jokes more fully because he fucking roasted that thing. It was amazing.
Man, that's the funny thing about life, man. You can make mistakes in life, and like I think I read some of that, and the things Matt Hughes did. I don't know, what did he choke animals or something? He beat up his girl or some shit. He did some shit that you look back on and you're like, that's some horrible shit. But you look at Matt Hughes now and you almost feel bad for him. He got into that accident, former UFC champ. It's like, what do you think about these people? In the present moment that did do stupid shit in the past.
But at what point is it karma? I don't want to be that guy, but at a certain point, if you are that much of a piece of shit and then you end up getting hit by a train, should people feel that bad?
Yeah, I do still. Because it's one thing to be a shitty person to people over your whole life. I think there should be repercussions for that, but certainly I don't think it's something like being hit by a train and having your life physically wrecked. I don't wish that on anybody, regardless of how much of an asshole they are. But you do make a good point that maybe karma is real. If karma is real, maybe that's why that happened. Who knows? But it makes me feel bad, regardless. I don't want anybody to be in that kind of position, really.
Yeah, I mean, life's funny, man. I mean, you look at someone like Mike Tyson. Mike Tyson is loved these days. He's an older man. He's grown. He's been through some shit. But when he was younger, he used to freaking punch old ladies in the head and take their purse,
Yeah.
But that was when he was, it's like, I don't know. Life's crazy, man.
Yeah. Hey, look, we got a call, guys. Let's go ahead and give it a shot. We missed him. Sorry, whoever was calling in. I didn't move quick enough.
But can you get a couple? You can get a few people on one line. Is that how it works?
Yeah. Oh, yeah, dude. I could add 5 more people in addition to you. We can have in between me, Ryan, and everybody else 8 people altogether.
No shit.
That would be quite hectic. I think the most we've ever done is had 3 other people on besides me and Ryan, and that was kind of hectic. But yeah, you could do a gigantic conference call style podcast if you really wanted to.
Hey, if Joe Rogan can do it, we can do it. Joe Rogan has 4 guests on sometimes, and when it's hectic, it'll be him, Schaub. Those are the best podcasts. And when it's Rogan, Schaub, Eddie Bravo, Joey Diaz, Brian Callen, I just think that's the best group right there.
Yeah, they have had some fun episodes. And Joe is really good at basically drawing, when he has guests on, that's when his best shows are, I think, the ones where he has special guests. Because he's pretty good at drawing people out and getting them talking. Because some of his guests, while they're interesting people, they're not really socially out there. They're not, extroverted. And he's really good at, getting the introverts and regular people to open up and give good stories and such.
Well, there was a time when he was supposed to get Nick Diaz on there, and it just never materialized.
Yeah, which is surprising. Well, actually, not that surprising. Nick and Nate don't really seem like they're podcast type people, anyways.
Although I will say it is kind of surprising, just by Nick Diaz giving one of the greatest shout outs for the Rogan podcast of anybody in history.
Joe Rogan, what does he say?
Train by day, Joe Rogan podcast by night, all day.
Yeah. All day. Man, he needs to get on there. There's one podcast online. I don't know if you can find it after, but he's on like a podcast, and it's like an hour or 2 hours long, and he's just blazing it up. They're smoking fucking joints, they're smoking bongs, and he is high as shit. And he's not talking much, but when he does talk, he's fucking lit.
See, and I respect that, because I do most of my shows high off my ass myself. So.
Oh really? I wouldn't. I couldn't have come on here. I'd be all over the place if I was high right now.
Oh well, yeah. I'm what you call a pro. I've been smoking for a very long time at very high levels, probably higher than I should be. So I don't really get super high unless I really overdo it. I've been smoking weed all day, and I assume the normal person probably wouldn't even notice.
Do you buy it legally?
Oh yeah, well, I live in Michigan, where it's been medically legal for quite a while, and within the last year or two, they've also made it recreationally legal. I already had my medical card, but it doesn't really matter now. You can just I have a weed delivery service that I call up, and they drop off pot at my house.
That's freaking incredible. So are you on an indica right now? You on a sativa? You on a hybrid? What's the strain? Tell me all about it.
Well, it's an indica, but it's a hybrid indica, right? I'm smoking something called blue cheese. I don't know what the what the exact mix is, but it is an indica dominant. Almost everything I smoke is hybrids, because that's what you're going to find out there. Very few things are 100% indica or a sativa. Most things you're going to find actually are indica hybrids, because sativas are hard to grow and they don't normally produce as much. So the very best you're going to get is a sativa dominant strain that is mixed with an indica to make it a little bit hardier and grow better.
Right. That's what's up, man. No doubt. I mean, I just started taking Alpha Brain. Yeah, just started that on it.com. I actually just joined an On It 6-week challenge. I started today. I woke up today. I was 219.4. I ran 2.5 miles today. I had 3 protein shakes, ate some eggs, ate some chicken. And man, I'm trying to get down to 199 pounds. Being with an MMA and boxing promotion these days, I gotta be in shape. Being around a lot of athletes, I can't be this fat slob. That's I hope to commentate and announce and promote all these fighters someday. And the last thing I want to be is looked at like, dude, you're talking all this shit, but look at you. You're a mess.
Well, there's plenty of good reasons to be in shape besides that, but whatever motivates you to be a healthier person is always a good thing. I have the exact opposite problem. I'm trying to gain weight. I lost a lot of weight when I got sick. I dropped from 205 to 167, and I've been trying to gain it back ever since.
Wait, you went from what, 265 to 160?
No, 205 to 160. Somewhat 205 to 167, but I was underweight at 205. I'm 6'7", so I'm not a small dude.
You're 6'7"?
Yeah.
And you weigh 167?
No, not anymore. 167 was what I weighed right after the first time I bothered to weigh myself after the cancer surgery.
I'm sorry. You had cancer, my man? I'm so sorry to hear that, brother.
That's okay. I'm fine now. I got over it. I had kidney cancer, which is a type of cancer you want to have if you're going to pick a cancer out, because it turns out you have 2 kidneys, so you got a spare. It sucked for a little while, but I'm fine. No big deal.
Yo, you're a savage. You're a champion. You're a deck full of aces. You're a fucking survivor. You're a fucking inspiration to many people. Keep fucking doing your thing, man.
Oh, thank you. I don't know about the inspiration part, but I do appreciate the words. But since then, I've managed to get myself back up to about 185, and with my new diet that I've got locked in, I'm very slowly gaining weight. But I figure it's going to be at least another year or two before I'm back up to even where I was at 205, which even then was kind of thin for someone my height, but not so skeletal thin as I got, obviously.
Yeah, I mean, as long as you feel good, man. How do you feel?
Oh, fucking! Other than I have stomach issues. I have IBS, and it fucks with my stomach. And everyone that listens to the show has heard me whine and cry about it a whole fucking bunch. But other than that, I feel great. Physically speaking, other than my stomach issues, I'm feeling awesome. Every day, I'm getting a little bit stronger because I'm on a pretty extreme weightlifting program that Big Dalton over there set me up for. We call him Big Dalton because he's 6'1" and weighs about 300 pounds. He's a power lifter. And
Holy shit.
Oh, I've got the COVID
and
fat going. I'm still 320, so I got to drop a good 20, 25 pounds yet, too.
yeah. So, but he's got me on I work out somewhere between 45 minutes and an hour a day, 5 days a week doing a weightlifting routine. And he's had me on it for a couple months now, and I'm just now starting to see progress. Because
what's your diet like?
It's very little of anything because I have IBS. So it used to be I could eat anything I want. Now I can only eat like 7 things. So almost everything I eat is either hamburger, rice. I drink something similar to a protein shake called Huel, which is supposed to be like a complete food replacement system.
Yeah, it's a meal replacement shake.
Yeah, it's a real meal replacement shake. It tastes fucking horrible, but it doesn't hurt my IBS. And unlike some of the protein shakes, it actually has supposedly everything that you need, a lot of fiber and minerals and proteins and stuff without sugar. So as far as it goes, it's a good product. And right now, between all that, I'm getting about 3,000 calories a day. So I'm very slowly going up. So I should I should probably be at 3,500 calories really, but I can only do so much.
Damn, that's awesome, man. You know, I feel like life is like always throwing shit at you to like adjust to. And when did you get cancer? When did this whole thing happen, my man?
That was about 2.5 years ago. It was I found out about it in early May of 2018, and I had my kidney removed May 22nd of 2018. It was stage 3. It was stage 3 cancer, about a 3.5 by 4 inch tumor around my kidney, encapsulating most of it.
Wow.
And yeah, but I'm a lucky guy. We found it completely by accident because when I went into the emergency room to check for a hernia, because otherwise I wouldn't have known about it because I had no symptoms. At that point, they said I should have been peeing blood. I was not. I felt great. I was, ironically enough, I told somebody 2 days before that I'd never felt better in my life.
You were pissing excellence.
Yeah, I was pissing excellence instead of pissing blood. So, and everyone on the podcast has heard the story because I've talked about it several times. So, and I certainly don't need pity or anything like that because, as I mentioned, not only is kidney cancer great because you have a spare kidney and one kidney is all you need, kidney cancer does not respond to chemotherapy or radiation. The only option is to take the kidney out, which means that's good. That means I didn't have to go through chemotherapy or radiation like most cancer survivors do, which is horrible. Don't get me wrong, yanking out a kidney is not fun. I don't recommend it. I was fucked up for about 1.5 years. But it's still better than the chemotherapy because some people are fucked up for the rest of their life. It lowers their immune systems and does all kinds of horrible things to them. And I didn't have to go through any of that. So I'm a lucky motherfucker.
Well, if you think about it, it really just balanced you out, right, Jay? 'Cause if you think about it, you have one working eye, you got one kidney, you got one pec, but you have the sexiest voice this side of the movie trailer guy.
You guys both have a great radio voice.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, Ryan doesn't give himself enough credit. He sounds really good at this fucking shit too. Everyone's like, "Oh, Jay's got the voice." Dude, Ryan fucking has a great radio voice as well.
Well, you know what I really like is that you're like the leader and you're like calm, and then Ryan will pop in. He'll be like, "So," and he'll just pop in. I like that. You know, it's a good dynamic. You know.
Oh, you should wait and you should hear until Ryan rages out on something. That's something to hear. Every once in a while he'll get pissed off about something and go off and just like. Well, you can see him hulking out over there.
Ryan, get pissed for me. What's the problem of the day? What's the episode of the day? I need to hear something.
Goddamn, I don't know if we really have anything, so we may have to go back out to the well. And I just want to say that we love Mel Gibson here. Fuck anybody that doesn't like Mel Gibson for trying to bring Puerto Rico into the movie theaters and thinking that he's some sort of anti-Semite. Mel Gibson #1, Merca #1. Hell yeah.
Is that Alex Jones? Is that Alex Jones? Is that definitely Alex Jones? This ain't no
Frogs
Ryan.
are gay!
Man, I thought they discontinued your ass.
I'm gonna get us canceled.
Yeah, right? Oh, man. That was great. That was epic stuff. Wow.
Yeah. Well, shit, Kev. We're gonna wrap up the show here in a couple of minutes. Did you have anything that you wanted to say or cover before we get you out of here, man?
Listen here. This is Kevin Barbers from Classic Entertainment and Sports. I need everybody to stay tuned for our next fight announcement. We got some big news on the horizon. We got new creative ideas. We got rising stars. We got new personalities. We got a lot of big things coming. So please stay tuned. It might be a name or a promotion that you've never heard of from a state that you never heard of. Rhode Island, the smallest state in the country, but we pack a big punch. And we're going to give the coronavirus the biggest knockout punch this world has ever seen. So when we come back with classic entertainment and sports, not just boxing, not just MMA, we are the only national promotional company in the world to promote both live championship boxing and the mixed martial arts, the fastest growing sport in the world. So all I can say is please stay tuned.
Very nice, my friend. Very nice.
So before we let you go, now that I heard this Rhode Island thing, how do you feel? So we've been talking about kind of uncluttering the U.S. a little bit. How do you feel about Connecticut just buying Rhode Island? Yes or no?
Oh man, I have no clue I mean, man, I'm at a point right now where I'm in communications with a lot of different athletic commissions and casinos, so I don't know exactly how that would work. The different states, some states we have one state we have a good, I don't want to say exactly who and what, but one state we have a good relationship with, the other is kind of wishy-washy, but we're trying to do what we can. I don't necessarily know what would be better if Connecticut bought out Rhode Island, but all I can say is fucking stay tuned, man.
Very nice. You know what, Kev, I want to thank you for calling into the show. I want to extend an official offer to have you call in whenever you want. It was a great show. I really enjoyed talking with you. And seriously, call in whenever you like, dude. You're good fun.
Hey, I really appreciate that, man. Keep doing your thing. Thank you for doing this. Thank you for setting this up. And I'm glad I was able to find a way on, because it didn't look too promising for a minute there. I had to use my mom's iPad, so I made it work.
Well, yeah, you made it work, sir. So seriously, call him whenever you like, man. And you have a great night. We'll see you some other time.
No doubt. Talk to you soon. Thanks again.
All right.
Thanks, brother.
Bye. Thank you.
Yeah. What a great guy. I enjoyed talking with him quite a bit. I'm serious when I say I hope he calls back again. Well, I think we're going to call that a show, though. I want to thank the OG Army for showing up. We can't do the show without you guys. Matter of fact, it was you guys that suggested that we have Kevin on, which made it for a great show. I want to thank my co-host, Big Dalton, which also made for a great show. Couldn't do it without him. Dalton, you got anything before we get out of here?
Yeah, as always, we always got a couple things. Number one, I would like to echo the sentiments there. Great call there, Mr. Kevin, sir. My state neighbor, I guess it would be, in the small land of Rhode Island until we buy you, and then you'll be on the payroll. But yeah, definitely call in anytime. I don't know if folks have let you know, but we do fight companions now and then where Jay goes to bed super early and I say stay up and talk crap through the UFC fights on Saturday nights. So I believe we have a card this Saturday. So we should be making our triumphant return. And who knows, Jay, maybe you'll stay up till 7:19.
Ooh, maybe. Don't count on it, though.
You lazy sumbitch. But other than that, only one thing I have to say to everyone out there, and I say this with all the love in my heart, which is none. Fuck all y'all.
Everybody have a great night. We'll see you tomorrow at 6. Bye-bye.
Screw you, hippie!